Hey everyone, in this video, let's talk about how you can use Grok. In order to do so, here we are on x.com, and what we're looking for can be found in a couple of places. On the left-hand side in the main menu, you can see Grok here. Also on the right-hand side at the bottom right-hand corner, you see this icon that says Grok. If we click on that, then Grok will actually open up a smaller chat box that you can use as well. So that's really quite nice. Let's go ahead and focus on the main page here. We can expand this in order to get a view that's completely designated to Grok. Up at the top right hand corner, you'll see this icon here that says new chat. We can go ahead and click on that, and now we are on our main Grok page. This is where you can answer your questions. And we have a couple of options here. We've got deep search, we've got think, and you also have the attach option over here. What is deep search? Well, it searches deeply to deliver detailed, well-reasoned answers with Grok's rapid agentic search. This compared with think. Think is for solving the hardest problems in math, science, and coding with our reasoning model. So they're really quite simple. Deep search is much more in line with like research. If you are looking to do a deeper search on a certain subject and you want Grok to take that extra time to really comb the information that it has access to, then deep search might be the option that you're looking for. But if you are trying to solve a math problem or a science problem or even do some coding, then you might want to toggle the think option on. And I'll just show here as an example. Up at the top right hand corner, you're going to find this icon here that says history. And if we click on that, then here we're actually going to be able to see all of our different chats from the past. And this is really quite nice because this was not something that was available before. And now that this option is here, we've got some really nice options here. First off, we have all of our chats, and we can even bookmark specific chats that we want to make sure that they're easy to get to. And finally, we also have the images tab, and this is really, really nice. Any images that you create with Grok are going to show up here. And one of the significant advantages that Grok has over other chat apps is that it offers unlimited image generation. And that is a big deal because you can go to many different places looking for image generation, and oftentimes you have to spend credits. And the fact that you can use Grok for that specifically is really quite amazing. And one of the things that I've done with Grok is I've had an in-depth conversation about some story ideas, and Grok has been very helpful in generating images related to my story concept. So I do use other platforms for image generation, but I think I am going to start depending on Grok more often because it's just so easily accessible and the results are really quite nice. Let's go ahead and just take a look at some of the images I've generated. And you can see for yourself that some of them are pretty cool. I didn't spend too much time with my prompts, but you could see for yourself the results pretty nice. With a lot of image generation, you are most likely going to have to move it into a different app that allows you to do some in-painting and editing, etc. But for the most part, you could see just some basic examples here of what Grok is capable of, and it is capable of some really nice results. So if you're looking for image generation and you're not sure where to start, I might recommend taking a look at Grok. So from there, let's go ahead and let's just ask Grok a question here. How are you today? Why not? See what Grok has to say. There we go. And that's Grok's response. Nice and short to the point. Let's go into our chat history here and let me see if I can give you an example here of one of the, let's say, more negative aspects of Grok. I did do a test here with my YouTube channel to see how Grok would respond. I was just curious. And Grok really provided some incorrect information. A lot of the information here is just not true. It's not relevant, and it does seem that it is just having a hard time analyzing this link. So that's something to consider. Now, I would imagine that Grok is probably going to have an easier time analyzing a Word document, something like that. Like if you're going to bring in your Google Doc or you're going to attach a Word document, something of the sort, then that's probably going to be better. That's something that is not a bad idea with chatbots in general, is to have notes that are separate and keep your notes there. And then once you have sufficiently fleshed out an idea, it's a good idea to bring that into Grok or any other chatbot, and that will allow the chatbot to be able to pull from that information and give you a more you'll get better responses that way. So that's something that I've been doing, is keeping my notebook and doing it more so in mind with like, okay, I'm gonna get in here the basic information that I'm looking to bring into my chatbot of preference, so that way once I bring that into it, I'm not spending a lot of time having to explain myself. So that's something to consider. Up in our chat history here, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. And this is something where I asked Grok about an app that I'm working on. And in this case, I used the think option. And the reason being is because I wanted to make sure that Grok is going to give me results that are as accurately and well thought out as possible. And I really like the results. One of the things that I noticed is that Grok will actually take you through its thought process. And it's really neat to see that, because you can go through that, and if Grok is confusing something, then it's easier for you to see what Grok's thought process is, so that way you can correct it and you can get more refined results. But as far as the results that it provided for my query about an app that I'm developing using Cursor, Grok gave some really nice results. And I haven't gotten into coding yet, but this is another thing, like with Cursor and different platforms like that. It's also similar concept to what I was talking about before. It's a good idea to do your brainstorming in a separate app, or to use the assistant when you're using something like Cursor. So that way you're not throwing that information into the so like, for example, with Replit, you have the agent, and with the agent, that's where you're putting your main information that you want for developing your app. And you don't want to spend a lot of time putting small bits of information and doing it that way. What you want is, you want to put in as much information as possible that's as clear and concise as possible, so that way the AI has a fair amount to work with. So it's a good idea to take notes. It's a good idea to brainstorm using a chatbot, and then bring that information over to something like Cursor, something like that, in order to get better results, more specific results. And that's what I've done here, just starting this conversation here with Grok. And that's essentially what I'm doing with all of my projects. I have designated chats that I have for specific projects, and I always refer back to those, and the AI has an easier time pulling from that chat history, so that way it always can provide, it's always able to pull for that information and provide more specific results. So that's something that you can do a lot better now with Grok, because now that they have the chat history, then that is a big deal. You can have your different chats separated like by topics that you're interested in, and it can really help with research, or if you're trying to develop something, whatever it might be. it's a good idea to go about things that way. So that gives you a basic idea of how you can use Grok as well. One thing I will note, if I haven't already, is that where Grok still fails in my estimation is that Grok is unable to pull from your various conversations. So if you have a conversation with Grok over here about something and then you try to reference that in another chat, Grok is not going to be able to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I really like ChatGPT. And, you know, there are other platforms that do the same thing, but that is something that's a pretty important feature. Now, where Grok is different is that Grok is pulling from real-time information from current events. It's probably the most up-to-date model that's out there right now in terms of the information that it has access to. Other platforms can be a little bit delayed, like maybe a couple weeks to a month, depending. Sometimes it might have a hard time referencing information that is more recent. But the trade-off there being is that it does have a memory of your different chats, and so it can provide much more intuitive responses. So you can also get the Grok app on iOS and Android, and that's really quite nice. So instead of having to go to X to access Grok, you can now have a specific Grok app on your device, and that is a really helpful feature for having access to Grok at all times and being able to have those conversations on the go, make your life a lot more streamlined as far as having those conversations. And we'll go ahead and leave it at that. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment and like and subscribe for more helpful tips.